Everyone, so today's lead question number is 1200, in which what we have to do is we are given an array in which all the elements are distinct, and we have to find a pair with the minimum absolute difference of any elements. So basically what is like absolute difference? So suppose if you are given two numbers a and b, let's say 5 and minus 14. So if you take difference normally, suppose if you take 5 minus 14, then it will be 19. But in case of and suppose if you take minus 14 minus 5, then it is minus 19. But in case of absolute difference, if the overall difference is negative, then we will make it positive. So if we'll take absolute difference of minus 14 minus 5, it will be 19, not minus 19. So that is absolute difference. So what we have to do is we have to return a list of pairs in ascending order. Ascending order means suppose all the pairs have two elements a and b, and a is less than b, and the difference of them should be equal to the minimum absolute difference. So let's check the constraints. So the array length can be up to 10k power 5, and all the array elements can be from minus 10k power 6 to 10k power 6. So if we'll think of the brute force, so what we can do is first of all we will find all the possible pairs, and then the minimum difference of all the possible pairs. So if we'll see in this array, it is 4 2 1 3. So if we'll find all the possible pairs 4 2 4 1 and their differences, and if we'll see what is the minimum difference that we get from all these pairs is 1. Minimum difference is 1, so we have to return all the pairs whose sum is equal to 1, whose difference is equal to 1. So see 4 3 2 1 and 2 3. Now we are given that we have to return this in ascending order, so we'll be returning 1 2, then 2 3, and then 3 4, like this way. So if you'll see the time complexity, so finding all the possible pairs, we will be taking the time complexity will be big of n square, because we have to iterate over the array 2 times to find all the possible pairs. But as it is given that the array length can be up to 10k power 5, so the allowed time complexity can be up to big of n log n. So this brute force approach will be giving us time limit exceed. So how will we moving from brute to optimal approach? So suppose you are given number, and you have to find the minimum difference of that number with some other numbers. So that number will be giving minimum difference with either the number that is just smaller than that number, or the number that is just bigger than that number. So for a particular number, we have to now check only two pairs. One pair with a number that is uh, just smaller that number, and the other one is the number that is the bigger one than that number. So what we have to do is we have to find for every number we have to find the number that is just smaller than that and the just bigger than that. So for this, what we can do is we will, if we'll sort the array, then for every number, the number just on the previous index is the smaller one, and on the next index will be the bigger number than that number. So we will be sorting the array, and it will be taking big of n log n time, and then what we'll do is we will find the minimum difference possible in the whole array after checking all the possible pairs. Once we find the minimum difference, then we'll take all the possible pairs whose sum is equal to minimum difference and return the answer. So if you'll see the code, what I've done is initially I have sorted the array, and then I have taken a variable minimum and iterating over the whole array and taking absolute difference. So this absolute function is used to return the absolute difference of two numbers. So if absolute difference of two numbers is less than minimum, we'll be updating the minimum. So first loop will give us the minimum absolute difference of the whole array. Then what we do is once we get our array minimum, then we'll be checking all those, returning all those pairs whose absolute difference is equal to minimum. So here I have declared a result 2D array, and then a vector in temp. So why I have declared here temp? I could have declared it inside the if loop also. So if we'll declare it inside the if loop, it will be declared every time. So that will increase our time complexity and also our space complexity, because every pair that satisfies this condition, for that the temp will be declared. So both time complexity and space complexity will be increased. You just check once while by putting this vector inside this if condition, and check your time complexity and space complexity, it will be more than that one. So if the absolute difference of two pairs is equal to the minimum, then that means that will be our answer. So we'll be pushing it in the ascending order, like smaller element first and then bigger element. So and this way, like we'll be returning our result. So if you like it, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. That's it.